everybody and just look at why is this? Why?
Okay, I'm gonna grant this argument. I'm just gonna grant it for a second, and I'm gonna ask you something. Let's say that there's a huge amount of demand to have a bunch of sex slaves. Why would it be wrong that I go on and supply the demand if it's just demand and supply?
It's honestly, if you look at it from the level of just objective species provision, I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with it. The problem inherently becomes
you had a big problem with it earlier when you were talking about what happened to you.
Look at the smile on Emmett's face. Dude. Oh man, that is great. He just Emmett is just, I'm not a mind reader, but I could see that Emmett right here is thinking, I really just got this to admit that it's moral to sex traffic. What's the meme? It's like the face when you just get a stupid to admit that sex trafficking, or to say that sex trafficking is moral.
So it's not, wait a second. So is it okay when other people become sex slaves, but not okay when you did? Because that's kind of what you're talking about.
Are we talking about non-consenting sex slaves?
If it's supply and demand.
What? Non-consenting sex slaves? As opposed to consenting sex slaves? What the hell?
And the demand is sex slaves, regardless of consent. You just said, if you see nothing wrong with that. I
do see something wrong with that.
So, okay, good, because earlier, you were talking about this generational trauma and your horrific trauma that had to be cured with your head in a toilet and something else going on back door. Okay, but
right. So now you talked about it earlier, where a lot of people are not conceptualizing their position in society as anything traumatic. They're just accepting it. So you have to understand that there will always be people.
Emmett is just dying over here. Dude, Emmett, this was gold, man. This was gold.
That are just like, well, it's a good way to make money. Maybe I'm family out of poverty.
Okay. So maybe I'm traumatized.
There's always there's not always gonna be those people, but for right now, there is a massive amount of women who have found an outlet, a way to have at-home businesses that are very profitable, and they have simply done what men have done all along and just done it. They just went with it. So
there's been a lot of cartels
that have found a very profitable. Wait a second.
There's been a lot of cartels that have found a way to provide a lot of trafficking, in which they just give a lot of value to the people that want it. I really
think that
they're becoming more valuable, and they just don't. They're becoming more valuable, and so therefore they don't mind what's happening to them. It's not actual trauma,
dude. The cartels are just providing a service, guys. You don't know? There's a market there, and they're just providing the product. It's simple, guys.
And therefore, it's okay in Desiree's world?
No, I'm not saying it's okay with me personally. I'm just saying that's the objective data.
So then why does supply and demand, why would supply and demand have anything to do with, listen, when it still comes down to what some women are doing on platforms like OF is really no different.
When Beth, how are you tying in supply and demand to consent? I'm confused on that point.
Because that was the question Emmett asked, is if sex slaves are in demand, and like she said, the prawn industry is about
to me,
supply
there's
and
no
demand,
difference between,
and therefore
a wife inherently is a sex slave. I mean,
what?
No, she's not. That is disgusting. What is wrong?
Okay. No, but I want to hear Beth. Beth, I want to hear what because I don't understand how supply and demand.
Okay.
You could have a demand. There could be a demand for, like,
chocolate.
Guys, dude, Abe Dinkus, is this the type of debates you're hosting? Go follow Abe Dinkus's channel right now. Right now, he's still in the chat. Click his name, subscribe, and subscribe to Emmett too. This is gold. What the hell is she saying? wives are sex slaves now. I guess those are those consenting sex slaves that she was talking about, huh?
Inappropriate material, that doesn't mean
Oh.
it
I
should
gotta
be
plug my phone
fulfilled,
in.
right? Like, just because you have a demand, that doesn't mean it's moral. It doesn't mean it's consensual.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait,
So,
I can-
That's why
I can
same as
explain
supply and
you.
demand.
Wait,
I agree
Confluence,
with
I can
you.
explain this to
She
you.
said, because supply and demand, therefore prawn okay. Emmett asked if sex slaves were supply and demand. Is there?
Well,
And she said she saw nothing wrong with that.
I thought
So that's why I asked.
Wait.
I
Okay, maybe
didn't
maybe
say
I misheard, because my thought is, I thought Desiree was saying that yeah, with pornography, obviously the supply and demand is a very real thing. But I didn't hear Desiree say that, therefore sex
Confluence.
slaves
Let
is
me-
an okay thing.
okay,
Demand.
Confluence.
Emmett,
Let me
please
explain.
explain.
Let me explain this so you don't strawman it, because I don't know why you have
You're-
today you had
I
like
don't know
the
how you
page of
missed
the
this.
steel man on your end. So we were talking.
I mean, he kind of has to like straw man the argument, because how could you defend? I mean, Confluence is supposed to be teaming with Desiree here. Like, how can he defend what she's saying? He has to. The only way he can defend that is if he straw mans it. Other than that, there's no defending what this crazy lady's saying. This is wild.
About why the industry, the OnlyFans industry was a good industry, and she said that the reason why is because it fulfilled a demand of the public. And then I said, okay, I agree with all of your argument. I'm gonna grant the argument that it is good because you're providing a service. But if that is the case, and there is a huge amount of demand for sex trafficking, at what point would it be wrong? And then she
There's a
agreed with
logical
me
leap
that
there. That's what I don't
Confluence.
get.
I'm not done. Okay, and she agreed. Okay, that if we're talking about supply and demand, that's the basis of the moral axiom. He would not have any problem with it. Do you
Wait, so
understand?
okay. Well, let's clarify.
Oh,
Desiree, do you
okay,
agree?
okay,
Do you agree?
Confluence.
Did you say that, Desiree?
Conflict. Yes.
I don't think I
we're
said that. I think that's kind of
Yeah.
putting words in my mouth. But
She said she saw
it's
no problem with
possible
it.
that I got
Rewind
so
it and watch
lost in the
it.
complexity of this exchange that
What-
I
what's the
perhaps
concept?
worded something in a way
Yeah,
that I
maybe-
didn't
I mean, maybe
necessarily
I
mean,
missed
but this
it.
is a very
Maybe I-
gray area of, honestly, it's very gray because I personally don't see the difference between a consensual sex worker doing what she does for pay and the role of a wife. I don't necessarily see the difference if you're talking about it on a simple consensual energy exchange basis. Which
Yeah, I know
don't-
one. I know one big one. It's called kids and family.
You can still have kids and family.
Are
and-
you supposed?
oh my god, dude! You can still have kids in a family with the prostitute, guys. You can still have kids in a loving family with a sex slave, which you could buy from the cartels, by the way.
to have kids with a guy that is blowing you during corn?
I think
I
that's
don't
up
think
to
let's
the
say that you
couple.
sign
I
a
know plenty of
contract.
couples who are porn
Let-
stars and have
Let's
kids.
say that you
I don't-
yeah. Let's say that you sign a contract. The end of that contract, when you're going to film, I don't know, in
Even Emmett's birds back there are laughing at this woman.
ISuckDates.com, the end of that contract would be to have kids and have a family and be known in society for being a family. Do you think that's the end result of that?
What?
Yeah, let's pretend for a second that I'm an 18-year-old girl that is called I don't know, Natalia, and I go to ISuckDicks.com and I sign a contract, and the contract says that this guy's gonna plow me until I'm easy. Is the end result of that contract for me to be known as having a husband and having kids and getting a family, or is it just to get plowed for money?
Let me ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
Do you believe inherently
She doesn't answer the question. Answer the question, lady, first.
in the process of redemption and personal development?
Why are we answering the question?
It doesn't
Yeah.
have anything
Because
to do.
it
I
seems
answered
like
your
you
question.
have no conceptualization of a human
I'm
being
just
saying
going
you
through
can answer the
different
question, then ask your question.
processes
Yeah,
at different
Desiree,
times.
I will answer that question the moment you answer mine, okay? Can you answer my question real quick?
In your hypothetical situation, yeah, there could very well be a bottom line that says, and after your contract with this is done, you will have this many children for me and raise them.
No,
yes,
it's not.
there's tons
Well,
of weird contracts.
Do you have any example of a contract?
Dude, this is Dude. Some people just don't know how to take L's and just admit they were wrong. So instead of just taking this little L and being like, okay, yeah, you're right, Emmett, I concede your point. They instead choose to take they're like, okay, you could take the L now. It's like a game show. All right, Desiree, you could take this L now. Or you could go for the grand prize L if you just don't want to concede. And they're like, I'll take the grand prize L. And it's like, all right. And it's just the bigger L. Like these people they don't realize how stupid they make themselves sound by just not admitting, like, okay, yeah, you're right, Emmett. That's a good point. I concede that.
With a corn star that at the end said that.
Most adult
We're talking
content
about making
creators
a video.
these days are making their own content with their own partners. The whole system is totally different now.
But there's a difference.
Okay.
Like he's pointing
Well,
out
that was a lot of.
Go ahead, sorry, Matt.
That was a lot of cope. I will accept your non-answer just because of this, and then I will say yes. I believe that there is such thing as redemption. Okay, but redemption is not something that you just say, "Oh, I am redeemed," and that's it, or "I feel bad about this." It's a whole process of redemption. It's usually overseen by a priest.
What's super weird is when people reach the level where they discover themselves to have a non-conformist sexual identity, and then they do not ascribe to these confines of sexuality that have been imposed on us for many eons, and they feel completely free with that. Completely
Are we talking about kink? Or are we talking about like gay? Or
anything that's outside the little box of religiously acceptable sexuality? And there's a lot on the fringe.
Sure, but do you think that nature can inform?
Okay, I was talking to my chat GPT about this earlier, because I was like, how do I not offend people while at the same time saying, but listen, guys, if we don't figure out a way to keep procreating and forming healthy family systems that raise children who also want to procreate, I mean, that is, for all intents and purposes, an extinction timeline. I mean, just play that out. So it's like, we need to have some sort of reverence and respect for those, what we talked about, to loop it back around to the beginning of the show. There's always going to be outliers, right? In the species.
Outliers do not make the rule.
Outliers.
Yeah, I know. Hey, her hands must run her brain. I'm expecting her to do this. You know that hand. You know when the meme where it's like, if a woman makes this hand signal, they're about to say something really stupid, or it's like the worst take ever. I'm expecting her to break this out. I'm also expecting Emmett to break out a Back to the Future right here, where he's like, "Hey, yo, yeah, this is your cousin Emmett Barry. Yeah, well, you know how you've been looking for the most retarded person of all time? Well, listen to this."
But they don't make the rule, and we all have to honestly do our own deep inner work and self-reflect on what part in the continuation of the species on a biological and a consciousness level do we want to play? Do we want to be NPCs where our freaking whole thought process and DNA lines just die off? Or do we want to be contributing members of the future of humanity? And that is really something we all have to consider.
The nuclear family has done more damage to children than anything else. And when you start looking, especially at what the prawn industry has done within relationships, the way the effects that have had on it, it actually leads to sexual dysfunction within people. Just from watching it, and
I don't disagree. So, that's why I personally position myself as like a Trojan horse inside. I capture the audience that is somewhat kind of in this middle ground of like, they're single, they're confused, they're maybe lonely, they're not sure what this is all supposed to be like. And I am just an example of a real woman.
How many of them are married?
Not to quote Emmett, is that not a bit of cope though, in a way? Because if you're saying the corn industry is bad, but you're participating in it as a Trojan horse.
And that's the thing. She said
I think that the federal government of the United States is bad. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Was Confluence just going up against her? Is this isn't Confluence her partner here? Why is he even he turning on her now?
I somewhat participate in it. It's like it's a
Desiree, process. You have maintained that you enjoy this, that this is like therapy for you. How the are you like being a Trojan horse? If this is your therapy.
I personally found a path of expressing myself as an exhibitionist. I understand myself.
So you enjoy it. You're not a Trojan horse trying to submerge it.
That was a particular. I didn't show that. That was not on my OnlyFans. That scene was never on my OnlyFans.
I'm talking about right now. You have said, you have maintained on everything I've ever seen. You do this because you enjoy it. You enjoy your sexual freedom. You embrace who you are as a sexual creature. But now you're sitting here trying to say that yes, is bad, and you are in it as a Trojan horse trying to subvert. You really like to over talk when you don't like what somebody's saying. Let me finish, please. You said that you're acting like a Trojan horse trying to subvert the situation. So which one is it, please? That's all I'm asking. So I can understand.
Okay. I thought this was like a versus thing. I thought you were teamed up with Beth against Confluence and Desiree. But okay, it's just a panel then. Why does it say debate wars on it then, Emmett? Huh? Why does it say that?
What your true intention is with this, please.
Okay, so in my season of not being in any sort of monogamous relationship structure, I have found the platform of OnlyFans.
Oh, date wars. Okay, all right. Admonish me. Date wars. All right, you're right. Forgot about that.
A good fit for me to express the exhibitionist side of myself while also being able to monetize my body, my sexuality, my journey in becoming who I am ultimately as an adult sovereign woman. And I have found that piece of it to somewhat be the restitution that I have found personally for all the years of abuse that I took, not necessarily consensually. And for me, it was very freeing. And also, I have had the situation where I had so many of my relationships, almost all of my relationships were based on this caricature I was playing of this good girl, this good Christian girl.
All right. That's enough prattle for me. I've had enough. What she said, this is my journey. This is about my growth. I've had enough. I've had enough of this woman. Whenever they say that nonsense, that's when you know, okay. That's when you know they're going to bust out the hand thing or whatever, like a little snake, when they bust this out and when they say shit like, well, it's just my journey. It's me being a sovereign citizen or whatever the fuck he said. And this is about my personal growth. This is about me laughing and loving. And that's her justifying her OF. I'm assuming that's what she does, or OF. Just a bunch of nonsense. This woman's out of her mind. But this was absolute gold, though. Absolute gold. If you guys want, this is sovereign. Yeah. There you go, Chris Peck. But listen, if you want to see the rest of this debate, I encourage you to go and subscribe to Abe Dinkus's channel. This is from his channel. I have the link down in the description down below. Shout out to our boy Emmett for sharing me this piece of gold right here. And yeah, also give me a like and also subscribe to. And whatever you got to say it down in the comment section down below.